Hello and welcome. My name is Nicole. I am the owner and founder of Lux Illume. Today I want to share with you my story, my journey of being a workaholic in corporate America and how I've been able to literally escape and create a candle company. I never in a million years as a kid thought I would own a candle company, but here I am. And a question we get asked a lot is, how did it happen? What brought you from the oil and gas world to the world of candle making? And it's time for me to share that story with you. It started in, 2014, really. I had been in the oil and gas industry for 5 or 6 years at this point, had worked my way up, middle management, working long, hard hours, traveling extensively, acting as a liaison between the field guys and our corporate partners and customers. And I am one of those people that just goes all in 110%. I hyper focus on just a couple things. And yes, after a while, I burn myself out. And that's exactly what happened in 2014. I had been working too long, too hard, no breaks, no outlet beyond just the daily grind. And I had burned myself out. And I was with some friends who were helping me explore what world there was for me beyond just my corporate work life. Way too much of my own personal identity was tied into that. And in this group, our leader, our mentor, shared with us, just as a side note, a project that he was passionate about. It was a charity fundraiser for an AIDS orphanage in South Africa. And I am all about charity and giving back and doing whatever I can to help people in need. And so I was surrounded by amazing artists and sculptors and photographers who had tangible things that they could auction or sell or create that would in turn bring in money for this cause. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, what do I have nothing. I'm just a workaholic who's trying to figure out life. This was like my own little midlife crisis, if you will. I didn't see how I had anything tangible that I could contribute. So I really went back to square one and asked myself, when I was younger, what did I like to do outside of work? And for whatever reason, what popped in my head was this time with my sister. She was visiting me. She was young. She was like 9 or 10. And it was one of those moments where you just have to have activities to do together. So we went to Hobby Lobby or Michael's or wherever it was, and we bought a couple of those little craft kits. We were making friendship bracelets and we were painting little treasure boxes, just all that fun crafty stuff you kind of do as a kid. Well, we had also melted and poured and created our own candles. And I remember how much I loved those projects when I was a kid. So I honestly went back to Michael's and Hobby Lobby and got a couple of those kits just with the intent of playing and breaking my mind away from just the workaholism that I was dealing with. And I really fell in love with the candle making one. So I researched and found some professional level candle making kits. And over the course of about 3 or 4 months, I invested a lot and spent a lot of time really just hyper focusing, which is what I do best, on the world of candle making. And before long, I took the creative side of me that never ever gets to come out and play, and I came up with scents and stories behind the traits that we wanted these kids to have in this AIDS orphanage. We wanted them to have a sense of family. We wanted them to feel love. We wanted them to perhaps find their faith. And so we created a series of 4 candles that were family and faith and love and embodied these different elements. And we then sold them. And the money from the sale of the candles, I was able to contribute to this group as the whole cause for this charity aspect. And at the end of the day, we all did great. We raised the money. It was fantastic. I felt like I had been able to help, and I felt really good about it. And I kept making candles just for myself, just for the fun of it. It was a night, weekend kind of thing. Well, not long thereafter, a friend of mine was the PTA president for her school. And she asked me if I could make candles for Teacher Appreciation Week. I was like, heck, that's a fun idea. Why not? So we got all wrapped up in their mascot and their school colors, and we created these awesome candles just so the teachers could know that they were loved and appreciated for all the work that they did. Well, from there, it spread to other friends and other friends. So from 2014 to about the beginning of 2016, I found myself dabbling more and more and more in the world of candle making. By 2016, January-ish, I was like, you know what? Let's make this like a real business. I'll go and get my federal EIN number. I'll register with the state. Let's get like a company going. Let's just make this a real thing and see what happens. So from January of 2016 to December of 2019, I worked full-time in the oil and gas world, kept doing everything I was doing, but on the side, I had actually built up quite a fun little candle business. I was dabbling with Disney scents and Harry Potter scents and taking inspiration from national parks and places around us and creating those scents in candle form. And I was connecting with so many people over the stories behind these scents. And it was really fun and really exciting. And then in December of 2019, the intersection of my candle world and my business oil and gas world collided in a way that I was not expecting. Long and short of it is, and there's no pretty way to put this, but I was kind of asked to do something unethical. And I remember driving home that Thursday afternoon and I was angry. I was upset. I felt, I've worked too hard to work my way up the ladder to get to this point just to be told that I needed to do this and I don't feel right doing it. There was a lot of conflict. And I thought about it Friday morning as I was driving to work and I hadn't slept well. I was really stressed out. I was internalizing a lot of this. And I'll never forget, I pulled into the parking garage and I turned the engine off and I took a deep breath and I just thought to myself, what if I didn't do this anymore? What would that look like? I had no safety net. I had no backup plan. Like none of that existed. The only thing I had was a burning desire, pun intended, I guess, to see what would happen if I gave my candle business the full-time attention it deserved. Remember, at this point, it had only been nights and weekends, and I felt like, man, I was able to do quite a bit with just that little bit of time. How much could I do if I gave it all of my time? And I called my husband that morning and said, babe, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I feel in my hearts of hearts, this might be the right thing to do. And I asked him what he thought of me quitting my job and going full-time into my candle business. Now, I'm sure what you're thinking is pretty close to what happened. I was met with, I remember pulling my phone away going, I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy. Yeah, I know it's really crazy, but babe, seriously, like I can't explain, I can't articulate, but I just feel that like once I really brought that into myself, I felt lighter, I felt at peace, and I felt like I knew it was the right decision to make. And I said, okay, babe, thanks. And I remember thinking, he's gonna be so mad when I come home and say I really did quit my job. And that's what I did. I went upstairs to the office and the guys asked me if I had, thought about it and was able to do what they asked me to do. And I said, you guys, I love my job. I love the people that I work with. But at the end of the day, I have to be happy with myself and my own personal integrity and values. And I just can't do what you've asked me to do. And in fact, I'm so offended that you feel like that is a good business practice that I'm actually tendering my resignation. And I will never forget the looks on their faces. They couldn't believe that I was willing to give up this career for one simple little thing in their mind. And I couldn't help but think, if I cross this line, then how far out is that line going to constantly get pushed? And I just knew. I knew I had built this on the side. I never gave it full-time attention. You're asking me to do things I just don't agree with. If there had never been a more perfect intersection of, okay, it's all come together and guess what? You're going this way now. And that's exactly what I did. The next Monday morning, Friday afternoon, they basically handed me a check and said, here you go, you can not come back. And I was fine with that. And Monday morning, I got up and I made my coffee and I sat down to a blank piece of paper. I didn't have to commute an hour in traffic. And I sat down and just thought, you now have your business full time. What are you going to do with it? And the rest is history. I've been full-time in my business now for an additional 2.5 years. Altogether, we've been making candles for over 6 years. I love every lesson I've learned. I've loved the ups and the downs, and I am not here to say that it has been sunshine and roses every day, because it has not been. However, it's a risk, it's a sacrifice, and it's a journey that I would not trade for the world. I really wouldn't. So I'm sorry, I got a little like emotional and excited there, but so many people ask the story of, you know, corporate America, daily grind, and making candles. It's such a polar opposite. How did that come to be? And well, now you know, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. I'm sure I'm dating myself, but oh well. Anyway, now you know how Lux Illume came to be. I hope the story resonates with you. I hope it gives you a little bit of encouragement and inspiration to don't be afraid to know your boundaries, know your limits, and know what lines you're not willing to cross, because it was a terrifying decision. And I had to really convince my husband that it was the right thing to do. I had a lot against me at the time, and there were a lot of ups and downs, but I'm happy with where we are now. And I've been able to create some really awesome things that I don't think I would have been able to do if I was working full time. So anyway, I apologize for being long-winded. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope it inspires you. Be good to you, and we will talk soon. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.